Today we are painting our starlit deer. Follow along. Now that we have the outline, in order to make those whooshing Van Gogh style stars, I'm going to switch to a round brush. It's still a medium brush, but it's a round brush. And I'm just going to go around the stars with some of those just kind of light, it's like a sketch line, okay? So it doesn't go all the way around, it just kind of sketches around it. See how it's a little choppy, it's not quite complete. So I'm just gonna go around each of my stars. And this is also a great opportunity to add like a second layer to a couple of your stars. So being that we're using a black canvas, that means we're gonna have to do several layers. On the parts that we want to stick out the most. Layers always help on any canvas, but on a black canvas, it's necessary. So just going around each of those. And again, these can be anywhere. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep going around and around each star, and they're gonna start bumping into one another with these lines, these sketch lines, but I'm gonna go more towards the blue family now. So I'm gonna mix a little bit of yellow with blue and white. So I'm a little bit of yellow with blue. So it's not quite a green, it's more of a teal. And then adding a little bit of white in there. Oh, that's a pretty color. Let's go with that. So we'll start here with kind of this light teal color. And I'm gonna go around each of the stars again. And this is a very quick motion. I'm just flicking my wrists as I go around. So now we have the blue color going around, flick, flick. Each of these are somewhere between 1 inch and even 3 inches. We're not trying to make any of these lines identical. This is not a mosaic. So see how they're starting to bump into each other up here? That's great. I'm going to show you how to handle that. So going around and around. And get used to this kind of flicking motion, because this little flick is how we're going to be handling most of the painting. So just going around with this light blue, just flick, 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 around and around. So those ones have now bumped into each other. These ones are bumping into each other. It's basically a big star traffic jam over in this corner. Going around and around, not worrying about them being the same. It's a quick motion, just flicking that wrist back and forth, almost there. Okay, now that we've gone around every star, or there we go, now that we've gone around every star, now think about how those stars are going to collide, because we're going to add a few lines in this motion in the areas that don't have any lines yet. So like these stars are going to collide with these stars, kind of a nice, like, it's the motion that's going on, the energy in the sky. So I want to create some motion up here in the areas that don't have any. So areas that don't have those lines yet, we're just adding a little bit to add a little bit of movement in the sky. Let's see, where else? Oh, in between the horns, don't forget in between those antlers, not horns, antlers. Let's see, oh, over here, just some motion, very loosey-goosey. It's a really fun flicking movement. Okay, I'm gonna go lighter, so I'm gonna add more white. Same color, mixing white in with blue and yellow. Oh, that's beautiful. So we want it to be lighter around the stars, because the stars are what's giving off the glow. So some quick motions around the stars. If you cover up a little bit of the stars, it's okay. Flick, flick, flick. Nice. Flick, flick. Going around and around. Flick, flick. Excellent. This light color. We want to see these individual lines. You can make some stars grow larger and other ones stay kind of tiny by how big you make this glow around them. Just going around and around. Nice. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna come down here. Now I also want to give the effect that there's almost like a glow off of this sweet deer. So as I get close to the deer, I'm just gonna give a few flicks. So not everywhere in the background, but just kind of around the deer in this light color. If you haven't worked with black canvas before, you are in for a treat. Black canvas is so fun. One of my favorite aspects of black canvas is that if there's anything you don't like or any mistakes you made, you can just paint over it with black. No big deal. Easy peasy. So I'm gonna go around and around. Again, a little bit around the deer because I want that deer to glow ever so slightly. Maybe around the ears. Before I switch to a darker blue, I'm gonna go for just white. So we're gonna go around the stars. There's no wrong way to flick these little tiny motions. We're just filling up the background with a lot of movement. So if yours looks different than mine, that's great. So I'm gonna go with white now that I have some blue. And I'm trying not to pay attention to what's going on already because I do want some black showing through. I don't want to go over like intentionally filling in the black or intentionally going over the same lines each time. I really want to try to be a little, I want to try to be random. All right, so just going white around and around and around. And let's go white around and around. Quick, quick, quick. I am not going to go up to the deer with this white because it's so bright. And again, over here. Again, every one of these motions are kind of a circular flick of the wrist going around these stars. Quick. Anybody else make noise while they're painting? The different like No, just me? That's not true. Someone out there makes noise while they're painting. Oh, I went over the star. That's okay. I'll go back over the star again later. So just going around and around, flick, 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 creating motion. Instead of saying where it has to go, just kind of watch as you just go through the quick process. Enjoy the process and then enjoy the surprises that it gives you. Like how the colors are mixing with each other because we already have so many different blends on here. So pretty. Okay, while we have this white on our brush, let's go ahead and start bringing in the first highlights of the deer. So I'm gonna go, whether you did a nose here or not, that was not a problem, but we're gonna go ahead and create kind of like a triangle or an upside down V in the center. It might help again to go like this, right? So it's parallel to the ground. And then this is not the nose itself. This is kind of the snout. I'm gonna go around from there. There you go. Let's fill in that whole area. So triangular on the top. This is the snout. The nose will fit onto this, but so will the mouth. Then we're going to create some eyes. So from the side of the snout, we're going to go up and over. So kind of up like this. And then we'll go over like this. So up and then over. And then over here, let's just kind of fill this area in. Oh, and look, now we have a zombie. Most of my animals go through some sort of zombie phase. And now we are in that zombie phase. Okay, while we still have white on the brush, so we're not done yet, we're gonna put a little bit of white in the ear. So I want you to kind of outline the middle of the ear like this. So you're going parallel to all those lines, parallel to the outline of the ear, and just creating a white space on both ears. Excellent, just like that. Then we're gonna add a little bit on the inside of the antlers. Just kind of a line. We'll come back to this again later, but just kind of outlining the inside of the antlers. Notice how you have the power to change your antlers at any point. If you're like, oh, I think I need to add more. I think I need to maybe even do less. Okay. So there you go. And then let's go ahead and run a little bit of these loose white lines kind of over each eye, almost like eyebrows. Little highlight on this side, and then we'll bring some swooshes through the back, but not through the neck because that's going to be shaded. Awesome. I think we are done with the white for now. Now we're going to take that same brush. I just want you to switch to yellow. So I'm going to go back over all the stars now, making the stars a little bit brighter. These stars should be looking more circular. We have quite a few layers directly around the stars, so we don't have to worry about like them getting covered up again. So that now they're kind of nice and thick. I'm going to call these the major stars, or even like planets, because we're going to do some smaller stars, which might just be farther away once we finish these up. And those ones won't really have any light like assigned to them. They just have their own little tiny dot. Maybe their light's very visible many, many light years away. But from where we are here, not so much. Ah, it's so pretty already. I would love to see yours. Go ahead, you can send me a picture, and I will share it out on my website, on my social media. Okay, let's see, almost there. Okay, I'm gonna go around each of these just a teeny, teeny, tiny little bit. Well, maybe not all of them. We'll go around a few of them. Just a little bit of yellow like we did initially. There's still a tiny bit shining through. So just a hint. If they already have quite a bit of yellow from the first round, then don't worry about it. Some of them will have more yellow than others. Awesome. And now I'm going to do a little bit kind of right around the deer. So this is like the energy coming off the deer itself. Kind of create a movement in the air, but only right around the deer. Let's do some down here. Little tiny whooshing lines. These lines are pretty long. Maybe a tiny bit above. Excellent. Okay, now those dots we were talking about, I'm just gonna go through and just every once in a while, just put a little dot. Some of these dots are more like dabs, some of them are like true dots. We're just gonna spread out a little bit of yellow in here. If they're a little bit like a dab, go ahead and follow the curve of wherever they're on top of. I want to be careful I'm not creating any patterns. Let's see. I like it. Okay, same brush, we're going to wipe it off, and we're going to go for just blue. So whatever your blue looks like coming right out of the container. And I'm going to go doing some lines around the outside. We're not going to get very close to the star with this blue, but we do want to work on around the outside. You're going to overlap some of that yellow that you just put down. Try to leave some yellow untouched and some yellow kind of like smeared with the blue. Nice. Blue lines all the way around. Sometimes you might drag a little bit of the yellow with you. Just have fun with it. I love it. together, maybe touching some of the yellow, maybe not. Every once in a while I might come closer to a star. Maybe up to the deer. Just so you know where we're going with this, we will be outlining the deer in black when we're done as well. So don't worry about making those lines like crisp right now. We're going to take that purple and we're going to go inside of the ears. So let's take some lines, and these lines are going to kind of swoosh, if you can picture the direction of fur. I'm going to do little tiny swoosh, swoosh, swooshes on the inside of the ears. I don't want to cover the white up all the way, and I am going towards the outside of the ears. And I'll do some swoosh, swoosh, swooshes over here with that dark purple. Nice. Again, not taking up all the space, not going over all the white. And then using that purple color, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some texture. So those long swooshing lines underneath the chin, up into the body, and let it go all willy-nilly. You don't want them to be all in the same direction. You want fur turning in every direction. Maybe not every direction. But we want fur, you know, not flat. So just bringing in some purple. Now that we're done with the purple, we're going to go back to that blue. So this blue has a little bit of purple on it. And I'm going to add a little bit of blue in all the places that I just had purple. And again, these are the long kind of wispy lines. So I notice that as I'm doing this, I'm kind of twisting my brush with my thumb, and that helps get a little bit of a wisp to it. So up over here, and then inside of those ears again, on top of the purple, just a few lines. I love it. Now we're going to add a little bit of white in. So now we have a light blue, similar to what you had in the sky, possibly the same, possibly not exactly the same. And we're going to go over those same places again, just a few lines in the ears. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Whoosh, whoosh. Trying not to cover everything up, just little bits. And then also whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Going through the chest and the back, just like before. But now that the color is a little bit lighter, I'm actually going to send some of it up here on the top. I'm going to use the same brush that already has a little bit of blue on it, and I'm going to mix it with some yellow and some red. And my idea here is to get kind of a natural, beautiful golden color. So just find a color you want to start with. And if it's looking like, I call it like starburst, it's looking kind of plasticky, that's when you want to go ahead and add a tiny, tiny bit of blue in, just to get a more natural color. So once I have kind of a warm, light orange, now we're going to start going around the different shapes. Let's go ahead and start with the antlers. So your lines need to be the same direction as the antlers. So I don't want to cover up the white completely, but I'm going to start filling in the space of the antlers with this orange. Just those same whooshy, whooshy lines. Whoosh, whoosh. Going back and forth. Excellent. We're going to continue these short motions with our golden orange. It does kind of get lost, not lost, but it gets muted by the black canvas, and that's okay. That's expected. That's why we do layers with black canvases. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to make these motions throughout essentially the entire deer. But the direction that our brushstroke goes, the direction that we're leading it, is going to be the texture of the deer. So when we go around the ear, I want to make sure that I'm going with the direction of the ear, on the outside of the ear. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And same thing over here. I'm going with the direction of the deer. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just like that. And when it comes to the face, so think about how the little fur, like if you have a dog or cat, how the fur kind of goes away from the nose. We're going to do the same thing here. So it's going to go up, little tiny motions, and then it will start going away, away, away. So we're going to turn those quick brush strokes going away, away. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Over here. Go ahead and go over the eyebrow area, but not over the eye area. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And then in the cheeks, this is kind of fun. So the cheeks kind of go away like this. They almost underline the bottom of the ear or the bottom of the eyes and then go out. Same thing on both sides. Whoosh. And then we're going to do the same thing on the back. We're almost done with this color. So whooshing lines going away. I'm going to start at the top because there's less blue up here, because I do know that it's going to start to blend in and we're going to get a few greens and browns as it starts to blend in. So long motions. Try not to get the exact same direction twice. We want some turns. I'm going to go down here. I'm not worrying about the blue. It will overlap it sometimes, but not always. Following the direction that the deer's fur would go, away from the head. Let's take that color and let's add in some more red. So it's going to be more orangey, less golden, more orangey. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We don't want to cover all the orange, and we are going to go a little bit more towards the edges as we do the antlers, but it's pretty much the same motion. So I'm going around the edge of the antlers, whoosh, 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 bring a little bit of that beautiful orangey red color. Over on this side, whoosh, whoosh, following it around, whoosh. I am going to go around the ears just a little bit. And notice how with each layer, how much more depth we're adding to this deer. It's all about the layers. Okay, same thing with the face. I'm going away from the nose. Quick motions. Going over the eyes. Not over the snout though. A little bit underneath, going around. This is a beautiful color. Okay, same thing. I'm going to go through the back. Notice how quickly this stuff is going by. Letting the curves and turns, letting all the colors take place. It's just beautiful. All those colors. Starting to go down here. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and mix a brown. There's no shame in buying a brown. You can always buy a brown. I'm gonna mix a brown. My favorite brown for situations like this is if I mix a green with a red. So the first thing I wanna do is find a nice green. So same brush, I'm gonna mix some yellow and blue, and I'm gonna need more yellow until I have a green color that I like. That's a nice green. Yeah, I like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and bring some red in. So in the color wheel, red is opposite of green. Ooh, then I get this nice kind of like chocolatey brown. So I'm gonna take this brown and I'm gonna do the same thing, only this is gonna be ever so slightly. I'm gonna go heavier down here when it's in the shade, heavier at the bottom of the cheeks, heavier on the back side of the antlers, but lighter everywhere else. So same motions, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Again, just ever so lightly through this part of the face because we're going to really lighten that up soon. But more so down here at the bottom. Ooh, I got a little bit of green in that brown. That looks pretty. And then more so down here because that is darker. Okay, now let's go ahead and we're gonna mix another orange. Or actually I have this orange. So what I wanna do is mix the orange and then slowly integrating that orange with the brown. So we have a warmer, lighter brown. So have fun mixing colors. Again, you can also buy like a burnt sienna or burnt umber, raw sienna. Or just have fun mixing brown colors. So what I'm doing now is I mixed some orange with some green, and it was still a little bit lighter than or darker than I wanted, so I added a little bit of yellow to make it lighter. So I like this color. I'm gonna go back over the deer. Whew. We're getting close with all these layers, friends. But notice the deer coming out of the canvas. It's coming alive. We go around the ears, go around the other ears. And this is still fairly dark. So I think my next step, depending on how your color turned out, my next step is to add a little bit of yellow, add more yellow to this. And that might be your next step as well. So I'm just gonna get some of this color down so we have a lot of variation. We want all those variations. Now I'm gonna mix more yellow in with that brown, making it nice and warm and light. It's almost like a caramel color. Oh yes, that looks like a delicious caramel. Okay, so with my caramel, there's certain areas I wanna highlight because this is a lighter color. So I'm gonna go back. Remember in the beginning we were highlighting the inside layers? There's still more white on those layers on the antlers. So we're gonna go on the inside layers. Inside layers, inside layers. And don't worry if you're losing definition because we're gonna bring that back with black. Let's do a little bit more on the outside of the ears. Kind of highlighting the outside of the ears. Nice. Do, 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 do. There we go. Other areas to highlight right above the eyes because that's coming forward, right? As the nose is starting to come forward. And then especially at the kind of the top of the head, their forehead. Now I might highlight just every little bit underneath the eyes because I'm picturing those cheekbones. And then just the top part of the back. I won't highlight this bottom part, top part. Okay, now I'm gonna go for yellow by itself, pure yellow, nothing else, nothing blended with it, yellow. And with this yellow, same general sections that I just did. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Whoosh, it's all about layers, friends. Whoosh. All about the layers. Inside of the ear. Inside of the edge of the ear, excuse me. Gotta clarify that. There we go. I'm gonna go back up here to over the eyes. Over the eyes. That's important for helping it come alive. Right here at like the peak, like the center of that snout coming forward. Maybe in the top of the forehead. Let's put a little bit of yellow under here. Those cheekbones again. And then while we have this yellow, let's go ahead and put another layer on some of our stars. Big stars and little stars, whatever stars you want to come forward. The side of that snout. So I kind of lost my white from earlier, so I'm just gonna bring it back a little bit. Over here. I love it. Okay, we're gonna bring in that snout. This is just the second layer because we need to do that with the black canvas to make it nice and bright. Don't paint too thick though, because we're gonna add the nose and the eyeballs soon, and it's gonna take a long time for it to dry. Of course, you can always pause the video if yours is not dry yet or tacky. And the ears, we wanna make it fluffy. So just on this inside edge, that first part we put white on, I'm dragging in the white to make it fluffy. I'm gonna do that on both sides. Drag it in to make it fluffy. Nice. Oh my gosh, I love that. Just fluffy. And then I'll just bring in just a tiny, tiny touch where we had it before. This is starting to mix with the blue, and that's okay. That's kind of cool, actually. Nice, I like it. This white yellow color, we're gonna bring across the back in some of those long strokes. Not in the shadowed area. In fact, this is gonna help separate where there is a shadow. There we go. And I'm going to bring a little bit more on the edges of these antlers. I always think of antlers as being a lot lighter than the fur. So I want to be consistent with that. Notice how I have some coverage, but you can still see all the colors coming through. And I'll do the same thing over here, just dragging some white. Again, these are all the same quick motions we've had this whole entire time. That's how our painting looks cohesive, consistent. There we go. Still on the same brush, I'm gonna find a brown. I can use the same brown I created before, like kind of this green brown. In fact, I think I will. Or you can use any brown you want, or you could do blue, but this is for the irises. This is the eyes. So find a color you want for the eyes. And we're gonna come in here in the center, center up and down, but towards the outsides horizontally. And we're gonna do 2 really big irises. What? Okay, now our deer doesn't look so sweet. We're gonna go ahead and outline the deer in black. So the space between the deer and space. And you have a chance here to make your deer bigger, smaller, kind of create the shape of the deer, but I am outlining it just in solid black. Just like that. Now notice how my antlers started to kind of flum together. That's my word, flum. So I will be able to outline those in the black as well. Remember, the edge of your ears are round, not pointed. Okay, let's find our antlers again. So I'm going to the outside of my antlers, and I want it to go up and out over here. So where you outline your antlers is help determine how thick they are. And don't worry about your outline being even all the way around. It's actually better if it kind of varies a little bit. There we go. Take a step back and see, do you like it? Do you need to change anything? I think I'm happy with that. I can look in there. Let's see. Outline this direction. There we go. Nice. Oh, some came off on me, so we're gonna wait just a second. Now's a great chance to pause, grab some water. Let's come back when it's tacky. You're welcome to use the same brush, or you're welcome to switch to a smaller brush, whatever you're comfortable with. We're gonna go ahead and outline the eyes. So taking just black, I want you to start by just outlining those big brown dots. And when you outline them, we're gonna come in, let's see if you can see that very well. We're gonna come in on the inside, right here. And then we're gonna follow that line more than you'd think, kind of towards that white line. Then we'll do the same thing on this one. So we're outlining it. And we'll bring it together. So up here on the top, making nice big eyelids with the black. And then we're going to whoosh, whether your reindeer is a boy or girl, they have thick eyelashes, just like llamas. And over here, we'll go swoosh. Just 3 or 4, you don't need a ton. And then those pupils, so that deer is looking straight at you. So those pupils are gonna go right in the center so it looks like it's looking straight at you. Deer in the headlights. Now let's worry about the nose for a little bit. So it goes up together over here. We're gonna kind of follow that. Let's start by following a curve that looks just like that. Kind of follow that curve. And then we're gonna go up to the side on each way. And then we'll kind of bring it down. So this is our funny looking shape. I'm gonna fill in that shape just a little bit. Create, fill black in right here. Let's go ahead and fill in that area in between. It's going to be a light blue color. So blue and white. Blue and white going right through here. We're going to follow the edge of the nose because now we're no longer in the nose. Now we're not like that tuft of hair below the nose. And we're going to go out to the side. And just finish it off to the side. And I'm just going to go across, smoothing out the bottom here. All right, looks a little intense right now. That's because we're missing some of the reflections and the highlights. So get that light blue color back, maybe a little bit lighter than what you did right there. I'm gonna follow the inside again, and then I'm gonna create just little line right above the bottom running parallel. That's kind of a lip, just kind of the outline of a lip, the reflection of a lip right there. Okay, and then to really bring these eyes, they are so beautiful, but we need to finish them off, is we're gonna do a nice white reflection. And I'm making that reflection towards the top, and maybe even a little bit towards the bottom. And I'll do the same thing on the other eye. Again, it should be similar, but not identical. There you go. And I'm gonna go ahead with that white color, and I'm just gonna bring in the tiniest little bit of reflection on the outside of the nose.